iZenTzu, iTalk, July 5, 2018, Timeline Ghosts, Genetic Ghosts. So, I'm going to use the tomato plant in the straw bale for this one. Here are the fruits of the tomato, and this tomato is growing very, very well in the straw bale, and the straw bale is now breaking down totally, so that will become compost in 2019, probably for tomatoes or for the garden. I mean, once that's broken down, you can put that on the garden. And it's breaking down pretty fast. And what is happening, it's forming a probiotic, and it's feeding the tomato plant, and the plant just loves it. I mean, the plant has actually split into two, and it's providing tomatoes from the lowest level. They're healthy, they're in very good state, the plant has super green leaves, no damage. And then on the two branches are multi-layers of what is supposed to be cherry tomatoes, but I'm not sure. It's a form of smaller tomato, which I prefer, salad tomato, whatever. And then here it has gone for the protection of, and this is related to ghost timeline, so just bear with me. I could pull this out and stake it. It has gone into the jasmine hedge on the... And I'm just going to let it do it, because one part of me thought, okay, I can pull it out and stake it out away from this. But look, it's protected in there, it's forming tomatoes, it's totally happy, and it's decided to do that because the other branches have not. So one branch, I will support them with a bamboo stake, but two branches have pulled away from the hedge, and one has gone straight up into the, it's a side shoot, but I'll let it grow, so what, it's producing tomatoes and I'm happy, and it's a smaller plant, so it's not getting out of control. And then at the very top is coming this fantastic layer again of the next tomato. So in a way the tomato plant represents the physical diagram to explain the timeline ghosts. And that is all the branches split off from the main stem, the original stem with the root. And so that is the original beginning of the timeline, genetic timeline. Wherever that is, millions of years, who knows, but it's timeless, it's just way back, it's very old. And this tomato example of the timeline has been, it's been split from her original source, but they then develop and evolve and change and adapt to different planets. And so what happens is, from the original roots, that from the roots grows the original stem, and that is the origin of the timeline. And then the branches split off, providing the flowering stage and the fruit, and each finds its own way. So you have two genetic timeline doorways or threads, one going right, one going left, yin and yang, and you have a side shoot coming from the main, and that side shoot then, it doesn't branch away, but it goes up in its own way into the jasmine, and it's happy, and it's it's still going, and it has 2 layers now of fruit of the tomato. And so you could technically say that the tomato or the human evolution, the human 3-dimensional physical reality with the energy being the soul, the spirit manifest, and there they are, and they're growing out of the timeline. Now the ghosts, they're energetic signatures. They're not, if a ghost is trapped between the worlds, that spirit, the spirit is what inhabits each of the little fruits of the little 3-dimensional reality. And then if a spirit is trapped of inhabiting and then leaving, that spirit then can go back. They can be helped to be going back into the cycle of life. But a ghost is different. A ghost is an electrical signal. It's a symbol. It's not this. It's not any part of actual reality of anything soul, spirit, or the 3rd dimension. And that signature forms, and it becomes parasitic. So there you've got it becomes parasitic. It lives, the signature, which is not life, it's like thought, or a pattern of thought, or an image, or an ego, and it always feeds off sorrow, pain, suffering, fear, jealousy. It's just strong emotion, and then it attaches itself to the timeline, and it tries to, and it can only maintain itself living off the physical reality of energy from a living being. And so what it does is it attempts to travel and maintain itself feeding off the structure of this process, and then it moves up, further up, and then it appears here, but it always has to feed off of the life force. And so that ghost has to end, because they bring with it all the emotion that they charge up on and feed from and keeps them going, and then they go all the way up the plant. And when you get to the top of the plant and it's healthy, it's all gone. You see, the parasitic entity or astral entity is gone as you go up, all the way up. And it's forming this, because it's healthy state. The spirit, the soul and the spirit incarnate into the 3rd dimension, always seeks balance, yin and yang, healthy state, and will always create. Because if it doesn't, it will die, the timeline will die, or the genetic structure will die. So all I'm saying is this gets cleaned, the parasitic signature. It's just an energetic signature based on strong emotion that doesn't want to end, and that is what ends. That's one thing I'm saying right now, and so I'll end that there. Healthy. The totality of the feeding off the probiotic of the universe, of the life force of the universe, and the entire plant is a structure of timelines, genetic signatures, based on spirit,